Good afternoon, sluts. Don't panic, it's not a guest episode, I'm here by myself. I'm filming this so late at night and it's fucking cold in my garage, it's cold in my car, it's cold everywhere. I'm in the office because I didn't want to sit in the cold. I wanted to be in the warmth, and this is the only inside filming place that I own. So here we are, but don't panic, no guests. So settle down and shut the fuck up. It's my turn to talk. It is 22:47, and if you're stupid and you don't know about military time, that is 10:47 at night. I am personally exhausted. I'm so tired. Why am I filming this so late at night if I'm so tired, you ask? Well, I'm horrible at keeping to deadlines. That's why. First of all, just caught my reflection in my camera. Let me address the elephant in the room, which would be my hair. I'm on the cusp of some kind of major emotional... I don't know what the word is yet because it hasn't happened, and I'm crossing my fingers that it won't. But I'm gonna say preemptively, cusp of a major emotional collapse, okay? Why are you on the cusp, Madeline, you ask me? Well, thank you for asking. I appreciate your concern. I'll tell you, I don't know the reason. I was doing really well emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually last week. I was reading books. I was having enough downtime. I was enjoying my own company. I was feeling good. I felt like, okay, that like life is steadily chugging along. My life is defined typically in spurts. Like, I'm never consistent. I go like all the way up and then all the way down. I'm never neutral. Never a day in my life have I been neutral. And my whole life has existed as a pursuit of neutrality, if you will. Like, I am so desperately seeking consistency and stability, and I have never managed to find it. Last week, I thought I might be getting close. I was like, okay, I'm kind of figuring out the recipe. This is kind of fucking lit. Like, I was like, yeah, this is great. Like, I think I'm figuring it out. Like, I don't know, I feel so regulated and calm. And I was like, my ADHD meds are finally the right dose. Like, I'm not manic when I take them anymore. My heart rate isn't crazy. I don't have this deep and also massively valid fear. I feel like there's something wrong with my heart. That's for another time. There is something wrong with my heart, actually, like, for sure, but it's not the point. And I was like, yeah, this is okay. Like, I started to take my weekends off my meds, and I was like, this is great. I figured it out. I'm not gonna burn out this way. Like, I was doing art through mediums like my crayons and such. This week, I fully fucking... Okay, listen, I actually have shit to talk about, so I'm gonna just cut this ramble short. But I fully sat at my kitchen table yesterday at midday and was like, I think I'm about to start seeing things. And then I considered having a panic attack. And then I was like, this isn't what I'm about to do. And I got up and I walked in circles around my house until I calmed down. So that's great. Moving swiftly fucking on, okay? Because I can't be bothered to talk about that anymore. But, there was a reason I went off on that tangent. The space buns. You guys know that theory that women, when they go through something, they can't leave their eyebrows alone. They start going crazy, plucking their eyebrows. Well, I'm talking about this theory like I fucking knew anything about it, and it's just a fucking TikTok theory anyway. But have you guys fucking seen, and listen, it's not funny because she clearly seems like she might be having a rough time mentally, but have you guys been seeing the lady who went to Pakistan and just like became a part of the fucking government because she got rejected by her man? She flew out there for her man, a man, not her man, fucking evidently. He rejected her for whatever reason, and then she just like tried to overthrow the Pakistani government, and like they kind of let her, which was fucking hilarious. Like, they kind of just let her do it, and she was like requesting money from the government. She was requesting money for the people. She was gonna make change. And then she like, I saw a comment and it genuinely made me like sit up in my bed and giggle. And it was like, how the fuck did she organize a press conference? How did she? No one knows. Anyway, not funny because she does look like she's going through something serious. But then, you know what? I was watching it and I was like, okay, but there's a lot of people that are going through something serious. Like, there's a lot of people that are struggling the way she is mentally. And you don't see the creative vision come together the way it came together with her. So I'm just like, you know what? You know what I just thought as I was mid-sentence having empathy for another woman's emotional mental breakdown? I was like, I'm sat cross-fucking-legged, crisscross applesauce right now in a desk chair, and I know I'm not wearing underwear, and I bet my fucking pajama pants have a massive hole right in the crotch, because all of my pajama pants do. All of them. So I checked, and actually, they don't have a hole there. Clearly, I'm in no state to make any comments on anyone else's mental state. Anyway, the space buns, for fuck's sake, that's why I started. I am trying so desperately not to fucking remove my eyebrows off my face right now that I've put space buns in my hair, okay? There's no other excuse for it. They look like shit. Do I care? No! Because if it's not space buns, it's gonna be bleach. If it's not gonna be bleach, it's gonna be I have no eyebrows. Okay, bye tomorrow morning. Thank fucking God that this chair rocks, all right? But I'm gonna stop because that's gonna make the audio annoying. You know what's truly hilarious about, in a sick way, like hilarious in like a it's not funny way, is that even when I'm having weeks like this where I'm like, I would be better off on a sedative medication, I still have to upload I still have to upload a podcast every week. Like there's never a week where I don't have to upload this podcast. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you just fully just get me at my worst. And this is why everyone on my team is like, hey Mads, let's make a plan so that you can record episodes, so that you can bank like, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks worth of episodes, so that you're not scrambling every week to like get the episode in on time. And you know, should you get sick or should something happen, like for example, that day when my grandma died and I was podcasting crying about it, that's because I didn't have any episodes banked. So my team for years has been like, hey Mads, like let's try get a good schedule in place so that we can bank the episodes, right? So that you don't have to work under stressful circumstances when they arise, because they will, because bitch, I'm in a 2-year contract. Have I ever fucking banked an episode in my life? Have I fuck? You guys see me week by week, okay? It's always real. And so that when I have these weeks where I am clearly about to lose my shit, you actually just have to digest it with me. And the funny thing is I feel like a lot of the time I sit on this podcast and I'm like, let's be introspective and read some books about emotional intelligence and then like dissect it together. And I'm like, guys, like let's all talk about mental health. And most of the time you get me at my best. I would like to think where I'm like smart and objective. And then other weeks you get me when I'm going to fully fucking lose my mind. And I don't know why. I don't know why. It must be hormonal. It's not hormonal. I have not felt like this in years. You wanna know something that makes me uncomfortable? You know when people online, like on TikTok, are like, one of the things I've been seeing a lot of recently is like, do you have PMDD? You probably have too much histamine in your body. You have a histamine intolerance. You have to take Pepto-Bismol before your fucking period. And then I went down that rabbit hole because I was like, I do go fucking crazy before I get my period, which by the way, I just finished my period. There is no excuse for the way I'm acting right now. But I was like, well, that does sound like me. So I went on this whole fucking deep dive about fucking histamine intolerance or over-tolerance. I can't remember. Anyway, and then I realized, bitch, I don't know anything about my body. And there are so many illnesses, like there's so many things that could be wrong with you in your body that like you just would have to find the best specialist. Like I've been to gynecologists, I've been to doctors, people have taken my blood, they've told me, Kate, you've got fucking yeast infections, babe. But they've never told me, hey babe, you have a histamine intolerance. Actually, fun story while we're here. None of this is in the content plan for today. None of this is on my laptop screen right now. Anyway, let me tell you about my gynecologist appointment today, okay? I went to the gynecologist today and she was like, basically, I have PCOS, okay? That's not news to any of us, I hope. But I had a cyst rupture, okay? Do you know how fucked that is? Do you know how fucking unpleasant that was? I genuinely believed I was dying. Like, so wholeheartedly, I was writing a will. Like, I was dying. No, just a cyst. Just a fucking cyst on my fucking ovaries ruptured. Fine. Great. So my cyst ruptured. It was terrible. What was my point? My point is there's so many scary illnesses that, like, you could have and you just don't know. And then I hear about them through TikTok and, like, yes, it's not the most valid means of information recipiency, whatever the fuck, but it's still valid. Like, you can get like a seed off TikTok and be like, oh, there's a thing called fucking PMDD, I don't know, histamine intolerance or histamine over whatever the fuck. And then you Google it and then you research it and then you ask your doctor about it. But it's like, why don't these bitches tell me this stuff in the fucking first place? Do you know what I mean? Like, why did no one ever tell me? Like, I've been to the gynecologist, they tell me all these fucked up things about myself, and then it's just like I feel like no one knows anything. And it's like, it's modern medicine, we've been to the moon supposedly, Okay, controversially, we've been to the fucking moon. They're talking about going to Mars, living on Mars. They're talking about commercial space travel. Why can my fucking gynecologist not tell me, okay, why I want to kill myself right before my period starts? And why can a bitch on TikTok tell me that I just need to take Pepto-Bismol and it's going to cure the biggest bane of my life, which is that I'm written off a week of the month? I'm going to get off the topic of my gynecology now, if that suits everyone, which I assume that it fucking does. But it segues me nicely, conveniently too, because I didn't plan that, into my next topic of under and overdeveloped technology, and it's been bugging me, okay? And this also links into the fact that it's Valentine's Day as this is being posted. If you're watching this the day that it got posted, happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. Okay, my next point was, why the fuck are the new robots so ugly? Now, what do I mean by this? What I mean by that is there was some like new technology convention that happened somewhere, and then obviously people go around with phones and they film all the new like developments, and there was a certain station where they are developing AI robots. Now, if you, like me, and like most people on the planet that are under the age of fucking 40, you're very in tune with ChatGPT, okay? One of the many new AI platforms, tools that everyone is fucking using. And you know how advanced that shit is, okay? And if you've really got into ChatGPT, you'll know about all the other GPTs that you can download off the back of it and learn about off the back of it. You can pretty much learn anything you want. I'm personally currently learning coding off my fucking phone, off, I can't remember what the fucking app is called, but ChatGPT had it as like one of the like GPTs that have been created off the back of it, and I'm learning to create my own GPT. It's insane. This shit is so advanced, and if you have used it more than once or ever, you know how good ChatGPT is, right? So tell me why and how we've gone to the moon, we're going to Mars, we've got ChatGPT. Why the fuck do the robots look like that then? Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't figure out how to make her mouth move like a real person. You can't figure out how to give her any life behind her eyes, or like the skin on her face. Hello? Like, no. That's not, come on now. Like, get so serious. That's intentional, right? But then I'm confused. I'm like, what is the intention behind making her look like that? It scares me. I don't like it. But like, why do they make the female robots look so fucking strange? You haven't made them attractive, although sometimes I do forget that like the average person's idea of like hot is, I don't know. What is that genuinely? I know these people who are at the cutting edge of modern technology. I know you know how to make a fucking robot look real. Obviously, they probably don't want to, because it would just be too scary right now. Like, I don't think that people are attuned enough to AI, and we don't want to accept it in our society, and we certainly don't want it to look like a human, because I think everyone is currently aware that AI has reached a point where it is significantly more intelligent than us, and then our humanity is kind of the only thing that separates us as better right now. Like, we are still the humans versus computers. Like, no one cares about it, really. Like, you can still close it off. It still isn't like intercepting society. It's still clearly a chip. It's a computer. I think, I'm checking again for the hole in my crotch. Doesn't exist. God bless. I think they obviously know how to make their faces look much more attractive and much more realistic. I don't think they want to. Which honestly freaks me out, because I know there's going to come a day very soon where they do. Because there's no way that is the extent of their abilities. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking freaking me the fuck out. And what freaks me out even more is there is going to come a time very soon where men will just fuck robots. I think at least for a period of time, until they realize it's unsatisfying. Or they may never realize. Well, they already do fuck robots. That's the worst part, but you know what, I'm getting off topic. Happy Valentine's Day. If you celebrate it, I don't. I'm not celebrating, okay? Because no one's got me anything. No one's taking me anywhere. And you know what? The only fucking time that no one has ever taken me out on Valentine's Day. No one ever. And have I dated people over Valentine's Days? Oh yes. I've been in relationships that have experienced Valentine's Days. Have I ever been taken to dinner on Valentine's Day? No. Have I ever been sent a bouquet of flowers on Valentine's Day? No. Have I ever been sent a gift? No. Nothing, never. And, okay, you know the worst fucking part? I had an ex-girlfriend. I'm going to specify because you guys fucking clipped me out of context. I don't appreciate it. I had an ex-girlfriend who on Valentine's Day fucking took another girl out on a date, and they were like, oh, it's platonic. And I was like, okay, sounds fun. Have fun. Hello? Respectfully, you're so fucking stupid. That's to me, not to you. Oh God, it's just never ending. Anyway, I have almost never received flowers that aren't I'm so sorry flowers. I get condolence flowers from people who wrong me. I don't ever get you're so pretty flowers. I've never got a you're so fucking cute. I love you. Have a flower brighten your day flowers. I just get so fucking sorry flowers. I get forgive me flowers. I get bouquets of roses and apologies, but never just out of love. What I really wanted to talk about this week was actually my old celebrity crushes. Well, my current ones too. Given that it's Valentine's Day, I thought what better way to spend the time, okay, since no one's taking me for fucking dinner, than to reflect on growing up and trying to force myself into liking men in the most hilariously fucking bad way. Let me show you. The way I had to fucking dive inside of my brain to find these names, because they are the most niche, strange people that I had the most unholy fucking crushes on as a child. Let me show you. Number one, and my dad used to make fun of me for this, and I think, okay, so my dad, I only came out to my dad when I was 21 years old. But he had been, unbeknownst to me, predicting the fact that I was gay for years. Like, he apparently said to my stepmom on, like, my 18th birthday, or maybe it was even my 17th birthday, that he thought I was dating my best friend. My 17th birthday, he drove me and my best friend to this little local festival where she sang me a love song by the Blossoms called Your Favorite Room or My Favorite Room. Can't remember what it's called. But apparently that was the day that he said to my stepmom, this bitch is fruity for sure, and I think she's fucking her best friend, which I actually wasn't. But whatever. If you roll it back even further, say 10 years prior to that date, okay, ripe age of 7, there was a boy who stepped onto the stage at the X Factor, okay? If you don't know what the X Factor, wait, no, everyone has the X Factor. But I think that there's a UK version and an America version, so if you didn't see this boy on your screens, Google him. He's 32 now, so he was like significantly out of my age range at the time, but he was still a baby. His name was Owen Quigg. I think that's how you say it. Maybe Eogan Quigg. Fuck knows, he's Irish. Can never say their names. But, and I don't know if he's gay. You know what? I have no idea. But he's gorgeous. I stand on it. Like, I really do. The way I was so beyond obsessed with this man, I had a CD. I think it was the first thing I ever owned. Like, the first time I was, like, old enough to, like, truly ask for something for Christmas that wasn't just, like, a doll, I asked for Owen Quagg's fucking CD. I don't even think he ever owned a song. Like, I think it was maybe just covers. He was, like, 16 or younger on the X Factor, and I was in love with this man. A real crush. Now moving on, okay, to my second ever celebrity crush. And you guys are gonna fucking truly clown me for this one, and you deserve to, okay? And listen, if this segment of the podcast ever reaches his eyes or his ears, I want you to know something, but I'm gonna hold off on telling you to the end. So if you're listening to this, give me a sec. His name is Ronan Park. Oh, the way I felt about this boy at the tender age of fucking 7 was crazy. Like, oh my God. Mind you, this is a twink. Can I say that? That's a gay man. If I've ever seen one. And I knew it. The second he walked on that fucking, I think he was Britain's Got Talent. Because I think he was too young for X Factor. Yeah, he was. Britain's Got Talent. The second he walked onto that fucking stage, I was like, that one's mine. That one's gonna be mine, okay? I'm relatively certain that he walked into his Britain's Got Talent audition wearing a fucking infinity scarf. Like, bitch. I used to kind of select boys that I wanted to, like, fancy because I was like, I'm supposed to like men, and so I was like, oh, I'm supposed to like boys, and hence I will now choose one to like, because I was trying to force it, okay? There's no other way to admit that. I really only got into the whole, like, boy scene as a grown fucking woman, which probably tells you all you need to know. But as a kid, I never really liked boys. Like, I had one crush on a boy that was genuine to me. God, I remember him. He was at my primary school. I was in love with that boy, and he was the only one that I look back on and I'm like, that wasn't, like, I didn't choose to have a crush on him. Like, I actually had a crush on him. But for me, liking boys is such a rarity. It's almost benign. Like, almost. Except for the unfortunate few times it hasn't been benign, okay? But as a child, I was very drawn to the ladies, okay? And that freaked me out. So I used to select boys to have a crush on. And hilariously, I would select the ones that looked like girls. I still do, actually, if you haven't noticed. Ronan Park was one of the first boys that I ever decided that I was gonna have a crush on, and I really ran that shit into the ground. Like, I think my whole family was looking at me like, bitch, like, you're gay. Like, there's no chance this is your fucking type in men. And I was so insecure about the fact that I liked girls, and I didn't understand it. Like, I really couldn't comprehend the fact that I was more interested in the fucking actress from that movie, Madeline. If you've seen that movie, kiss me. I love that movie. The one about the little French girl who gets her appendix out. So fucking good. I was so insecure about the fact that I wanted to fuck her that I just, like, honed in on Ronan Park for years. To the point my friends knew his name. Like, I was obsessed with telling people that I had a crush on him. And I think everyone that ever saw a picture of him was like, you know, this isn't fucking helping your case, babe. Like, the lesbian accusations aren't going to go away because of this. And I went to the extent, and I'm not proud to admit this on the internet, I made my mother, okay, print out a picture of this boy from our home printer. I think it was black and white ink, okay, because my mum never had color ink. And I taped it to the ceiling above my bed so that I could tell everyone that he's the first thing that I see in the morning when I open my eyes. And it gets worse, because there then came a fateful day. In around 2013, now looking at the date on this Britain's Got Talent YouTube video, this is 13 years ago. If his audition was around 2012, then I'm gonna guess it was the year 2015, okay? I had accompanied my mother to a work event, which was being held at a hotel. She was in a meeting all fucking day, and so I was sat outside in this random hotel lobby on my phone. And who walks by? None other than fucking Ronan Park. The way I lost my mind, you cannot imagine. You cannot imagine what happened to me. It was genuinely like seeing a fucking god. And I had never seen a famous person in the flesh in my life. He just held so much lore to me, like, that was my man. And so I was like, no fucking way. And what did I do? I stood the fuck up. I don't know what possessed me, but I stood the fuck up. Okay, I saw him walk past. I think he was with his mother. I stood up out my seat and I just followed him. I followed him. What can I say? I followed him into an elevator. But what happened next was so unfortunate. At this age, I had a really bad fear of elevators. Like, I wouldn't get in them, and if I did, I would cry, and so I would always take the stairs, unless I was with my mother, and even then, elevators were mostly off limits, and when I would get one, I'm not kidding, and this happened to me up until the age of, like, fucking 18, I would bury my face in her jumper, and just, like, cry. I was so scared of elevators. Bitch, I followed him into one. And I was just like, fuck. Like, I just have to do this. Like, I followed my heart. And my heart got in the elevator. And then I stood there and I stared at him and his mom. And I don't know what floor they were going up to, but I stared at them like this. Like, in disbelief. They then get out the elevator on, like, floor whatever the fuck. And I panicked. am I gonna follow them out and clearly be stalking them, or am I gonna stay in the elevator and face my worst fear? I stayed in the elevator, hoping it would just take me back down to the ground floor. Biggest moment of my life, never been in one of these alone before. It didn't take me down to the ground floor. In fact, it took me up a floor, okay? At which point, I don't have the balls to stay in it any longer and get down to the ground floor and press the fucking button to get down to the ground floor. No. I just get out. So they've got out on the floor below me. Now I'm stuck a floor above them, and I'm alone, and I'm young, and I'm so scared. And I stayed on that platform. So imagine this. It's some cheap fucking hotel. It's like an open downstairs lobby, and then every floor of the hotel is on like a bridge almost. So if you get out the elevator and then you step out, you can see directly down to the lobby, and the lobby can see you and can hear you. Like, there's nothing in between you except like a little like glass barrier that's like chest height, right? I realize at this point I'm fully fucking stuck. Like, I can't get back down to the ground floor. My mother is in like a 12-hour-long meeting. It's their annual general meeting, their AGM. Okay, it's a big weekend for my mum. I'm stuck on the fucking 5th floor because I was following the fake love of my life and his mother. Now I'm stranded. What the fuck is my mum gonna do about it? I stood up there and I phoned her relentlessly. Obviously, she doesn't answer her phone because why would she? She's in a really fucking big meeting and she's probably on silent, and like her daughter's only in the lobby on her phone. Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I stayed up there for so long that I was bawling my eyes out. And when my mother and her cohort walked out of their meeting a matter of hours later, they were greeted by me sobbing 5 fucking floors up and yelling at them. Like, can you please come and fucking get me? And when my mother, who was in hysterics, did finally come and collect me and then escort me down in the lift, she asked me, why the fuck were you up there in the first place? And to that, I had to respond, you're never gonna believe who I fucking saw. And you might be wondering, why didn't you take the stairs back down? I have no idea. There must have been a valid reason. Like, I genuinely am trying to remember, because this is one of the most vivid memories to me. I think I couldn't find them. Like, I would have looked for them because I used to always take the stairs. Either I couldn't find the stairs or the stairwell was scarier to me. I was a very scared child. Like, I just did not like any kind of spaces. I liked open spaces exclusively. So that feels good to get off my chest. And Ronan Park, if this unfortunately somehow reaches you, you are a huge part of my brain. Hope you know that. And the cover that you did to Adele, Someone Like You, was it Someone Like You? Let me look. Actually, I still fuck with it. Not him, like, he's a child, but this is a good cover. Absolutely divine. I hope he's having a good time. Whatever the fuck he's doing now, I hope he's still pursuing music. I hope he's still singing like that, because incredible. That cover, this specific performance, I have listened to this so many more times than I would ever care to admit. And actually, for a long time, I used to listen to this in the bath. I'm sorry. I used to take baths and I used to listen to this song. Okay, specifically Ronan Park singing this song. So anyways, that's Ronan Park. That's my lore with Ronan Park. Love of my life to this day. Hope he's thriving. Obviously, I had the inkling that I was more inclined towards the ladies at a young age. However, there's so many instances where it should have been obvious to me that, like, you love women, but it wasn't. And one of the experiences of my life that I cite less regularly because I'm afraid of the impact that it might have on some of you is the fact that I saw One Direction live in concert like 2 weeks after the conception of One Direction. I went to like a live X Factor or live Britain's Got Talent when I was like a child with some of my friends from school, and I can't remember why the fuck we went. I think someone won it. I don't know. Like, it wasn't something my parents or their parents would have ever bought for us. So I'm like, why were we there? I don't know. We went up to Brighton. It was like a whole day. I remember that I wore a really pretty white dress that I loved. It was like the first time I think I'd ever worn a dress in public. And when we were walking into the venue, I saw a packet of ketchup on the floor, and I, for some reason, decided to jump directly on top of it. And obviously it split open and burst all over my white dress, and I was fucking devastated. Anyway, that was when I saw One Direction live in concert, literally a matter of weeks after they became One Direction. And I remember that we had floor seats, because it was seated, and we were right on the end of the row of seats, and One Direction ran past us. And I remember gloating about it at school, and being like, yeah, we met One Direction. We basically met them, touched them, sniffed them, kissed them, whatever, you know. No big deal, whatever. The next year, I had fucking nosebleed seats to Little Mix, okay? And again, a fucking X Factor thing. I went to school the next day, and I vividly remember, I must have been fucking 10 years old, and I remember being in my science class and feeling like nothing was ever gonna matter again. I was never gonna be happy again, and I was never gonna feel the joy that I felt again as I had felt the night before when watching Little Mix in front of my own eyes. The stark difference in my response, okay, was insane. And I remember my heart was in my fucking asshole. Like, my life was so changed by Little Mix, and like just seeing these girls perform in a girl band, like it was the most crazy experience to me. Like, that was the day that it's the day I look back on and I'm like, that was the moment for me where I'm like, okay, so I was gay back then too. Like this didn't happen to me somewhere along the way. Like I was born this way, baby. Anyway, okay, so then I convinced my mum to buy me a bunch of like teen girl pop culture magazines because I needed more content on Little Mix, and I didn't have a fucking phone because I was not allowed one. So I get bought some shitty pop magazine and I start to obsess over who? Jade Thirlwall. Now, Jade Thirlwall was such a fucking valid pick for me because still to this day, scrumptious. Like actually, like, I love when I get to look back on my child and I'm like, oh, she had good taste. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I love when I look back at shit I did as a kid and I'm like, yes, you had taste. Thank God. You know, like, I knew I was smart. Anyway, Jade Thirlwall. She had this article in this fucking magazine. Mind you, all of Little Mix had articles in this magazine. Didn't give a flying fuck. I cared for Jade. And she, obviously lying, obviously doing a fucking brand deal, was like, I use this shampoo and conditioner. That's how I get my hair so thick. The bitch definitely had tapes, but I didn't know those existed, and I just knew I was in love with her. So I see that she's recommended Tresemme. And I'm like, Mum, you have to buy me Tresemme. Like, you actively have to. And I dragged my mother, the poor woman, to Sainsbury's, and I fucking forced her hand. I said, buy me Tresemme. Was it Tresemme? I don't know. It was some random shampoo that she definitely had never used. And I remember smelling it. I bought this fucking shampoo. This is so embarrassing. No, it's not. Don't care. I bought the fucking shampoo and I sniffed it. I was like puffing the air into my nose, trying to smell the shampoo and being like, oh my God, this is what Jade Thirlwall from Little Mix smells like. And what? I would do the same now, okay? If someone would tip me off on the perfume that, I don't know, Billie Eilish wears, yeah, I would buy it and I would smell it. Like, I'm curious. I'm a curious guy. I'm a growing girl. I'm naturally curious about my body and everyone else's. So anyway, that was my progression. And I didn't know that I was like being gay. I didn't know that the obsession with sniffing Jade Thirlwall's hair was not heterosexual behavior. I had no idea. The first time I had like a gay crush on a girl where I was like, oh my fucking God, like I like you in a lesbian way, was on Coronation Street. I have such good taste. Like, citing my sources, and they're all valid. And it was Sophie Webster. And funnily enough, and I hope she's not going to see this, but she may, Brooke Vincent, bitch, I love you. And she messages me, and I don't know why. Like, she messaged me on Instagram like a while ago, and I can't remember I don't know what she said. And I never responded in a way that was like, oh my God, bitch, I love you. Like, I used to watch on Coronation Street. I think she asked me where I got my coat from, and I was like, oh, I got it from here. Freaked out in private. And I don't think I ever told her, like, I was fucking obsessed with you. So she doesn't know. And I've spoke to her like a good few times and she has no idea. the way I used to fucking watch her. So Coronation Street, if you don't know, if you are genuinely like out of touch, Coronation Street is a soap in the UK that's been going since, I think, like the fucking 60s. It's Britain's longest running soap on the air since 1916 and has become a beloved British television institution. Yeah, we know. I know. Coronation Street is my favorite soap. In fact, the only one I watch, because Hollyoaks is fucking stupid, and if you watch it, I hate you, because, like, actually get a grip. I don't even know if it still airs. Coronation Street is, see, the thing with EastEnders is it's like a bit too aggressive for me. Coronation Street, it's the same aggression, but they've got accents. And the accents that they have in fucking Coronation Street have literally shaped my whole life for me. I will have a crush on you if you speak like this, like with no exceptions. If you have this accent, we're fucking, okay? So, back to my original point, Sophie Webster on Coronation Street, she had a gay plot line. And now this was new to me because I was watching this at like 14, maybe 15 max. And Sophie Webster, fell in love with a girl called Sean, and they had a friends, I think they had an enemies to friends to lovers to enemies plot line. Very sexy, by the way. Great progression. And they were friends at school, and then they were closeted lovers, and then they got exposed, and then they got like married, but then Sean ran away on the wedding day because I think Sophie cheated on her with a girl called Maddie, who, that thrilled me at the time because I kept hearing this bitch say, Maddie. Yes? Yes, that's my name too. Maddie. Oh my god. Okay, so my camera roll starts. Let me tell you the exact date. My camera roll begins on the 9th of December 2015. Okay? If I just scroll down, if I just scroll 3 or 4 times, let me find it, we will come across pictures of Brooke Vincent in her bathing costume. This picture is from the 6th of March 2016. This is so fucking funny. Okay, so if I look, this is how the progression goes. 4th of March 2016, picture of my school timetable. 5th of March 2016, screenshot of Jodie Comer. Completely fucking valid. Completely valid, and it was because she was in My Mad Fat Diary, which was my favorite fucking show at the time, and she was incredible in it. Not as good as in Killing Eve, because that's a performance that would be a whole podcast episode if I could. Well, I can, and I might. But anyway, absolutely stunning performance from her. I love My Mad Fat Diary. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend you watch. Highly recommend you watch. The next picture of my camera roll, 6th of March 2016, Sophie and Sean in Coronation Street, okay? And then here we've got a close-up of Sean. I was so obsessed with these girls. Like, Coronation Street shaped some serious mistakes for me in my teenage years. They made me think a lot of things were okay that by no means okay. But let me tip you off. If you're curious about this storyline that I've spoke so highly of, okay, this is what I used to do. Because Coronation Street, like I said, it's been around for a really long time, since 1960. And who the fuck wants to catch up on fucking, fuck me, that's so much, like 60 years of television. They take every storyline from Coronation Street and isolate them and isolate their relevant parts and then put it all into a YouTube playlist. So you don't have to watch all the episodes. You can just watch the scenes that are relevant to their storyline and include them. Because Coronation Street, they're following 5 different fucking lives. 10 different fucking families. And some of them just aren't relevant to each other that much. So it's easy for them to isolate scenes and then put them in a YouTube playlist. And that was what I spent years of my life doing on YouTube. And that's why I find it hard to answer certain questions. Sometimes people are like, who are your early inspirations, you know? I got asked in a fucking interview recently, what YouTubers were you watching when you were growing up? That's a good question. I was typing in girls kissing and Brooke Vincent bikini pictures. And then I was typing Sophie Sean sex scene. So serious. So fucking serious because there was one. They gave us one. They fed us once. And they were in bed and someone came home. Duh, of course they did. It wasn't a real sex scene, okay, but it fed me because I was fucking 5, so I thought that was like scandalous. Anyway, it's not really the point. After Jade Thirlwall, Brooke Vincent, and who played Sean? Let me look it up on my phone. Sasha Parkinson. I'm gonna play you their accents. Okay, just in case you don't know the accent that I'm referencing, if you're American, I'm about to rock your world.
Yeah, I know. I lost track of time and I got a leg back and I didn't want to ring in case she was in bed. But you don't have to wait up.
Good lord. Fucking hell, I've got the shittest British accent too. If I sounded like that, I would post 7 podcast episodes a week. Anyway, yeah, Sophie and Sean from Coronation Street. Fuck me, look it up if you think you've got taste, okay? After Sophie and Sean, I got into my first relationship, and it was with a girl, and I figured out some things after that. And since then, my crushes have been less obscure and more obvious. I moved on to Lynn Gunn. Oh, Lynn Gunn, fuck me, genuinely. It was Lynn Gunn and Declan McKenna's drummer, Gabby. If you know about Gabby, I don't know if she still drums for Declan McKenna. Probably not. But like, let me tell you one thing about Declan McKenna. I was at that man's concerts when there were 50 people in the audience. And not only was I at that man's concerts with 50 people in the fucking audience, I was sneaking into these clubs because I was by no means 18, and you had to be 18 to watch him play because he played at the Hippodrome. Actually, I have a picture with Declan McKenna. I'll get to that in a second. Okay, and with Gabby. Oh my god, we've struck gold. I forgot I had those. So he played at the Hippodrome in London, which is like a club. And to get into the club, you had to be with an adult. You had to be over 18, because even though it wasn't a club night, like it was a gig, you started to be 18 to get in the premises. So I think I stole my sister's ID, and I went, and I met Declan McKenna. My friend was more the Declan McKenna girl. I was there for Gabby. I had my eyes on Gabby, both of them, locked. We saw him. It was like the smallest show ever. We saw him so many times. I've watched Declan McKenna play the tiniest venues, like probably 10 times. He one time played in like 2 towns over from where I lived as a kid, and me and my friends went. Every time I would see Declan McKenna play as a teenager, like it was the most like delinquent fucking nights, because like we were almost never supposed to be there, and it was always incredible. And then I would go home, well, after watching Declan McKenna play to a room of 20 people, okay, I would go home. You know what I would do? I would get on my fucking phone and I would sit down and I would write another chapter of my Sabrina Carpenter fan fiction, okay? Because I have fucking taste. And then do you know what happened? And then I turned 23 years old, okay? And I moved to LA. And I get invited to the fucking Sabrina Carpenter concert. And I take my friend Tara, okay? And we go to the fucking Sabrina Carpenter concert, and do you know who opens for Sabrina Carpenter on her fucking stadium tour? Yes, Declan McFucking-Kenna. I genuinely deserve a pat on the back. Like, my taste knows no bounds, okay? I have been on top of these people for 10 years. I get rewarded. Declan McKenna opens for Sabrina Carpenter, and I'm in the crowd. Those are my babies. They don't even know. They don't even know me. I raised them, both of you. I've been here. I've been here, bitches. And randomly, one time, I was out with my friends in Brighton when I was like way older, like way after the first time I like went to a Declan McKenna gig for the first time, and like I'd moved on from my Gabby obsession. I was out clubbing in Brighton with some of my friends on Halloween, and I was queuing up for this shitty fucking club, and right in front of me, Gabby. And I was like, anyway, point of this podcast has really just been to let you guys know that I have unparalleled taste in people and TV shows, honestly. So there you go. I'm done now, and I'm going to bed. It is now 11:54 at night, way past my bedtime. Gonna go shower, gonna go wash my makeup off. Okay, yeah, I really don't have anything else. Love you. Have a good week. See you next week. See you Tuesday, if you even give a fuck, because I post vlogs on Tuesday. If not, see you next Friday for a irregularly scheduled Pretty Lonesome. Good night. Eogan Quaig. Good night, Ronan Park. Good night, Jade Thirlwall. Good night, Jodie Comer. Good night, Brooke Vincent. Good night, Sean Powers, whose actress's name I forgot again. Love you guys all so much. Good night, Declan McKenna. Good night, Sabrina Carpenter. Good night, Gabby. All of you cornerstones of my fucking personhood. All of you sexy as fuck. Good night. Love you.